Hi, it's Nick on the 31st of July. Hope all is good with you. New theme this week. I'm calling it being paid for our work, because the whole idea of what we were born to do, doing what we love, our vocation, our calling, and then being paid for it, it's such an interesting, I'll use that word as a catch-all word, it's an interesting area for so many of us. You know, it's lots of opportunities there, lots of dreams, lots of challenges, obstacles. So I'm just going to start off the theme for the week by talking about where I had a pivotal moment around this. And the pivotal moment I had was a few years ago when I listened to an interview with Leonard Cohen, who most people know, who was a poet, a singer and a songwriter. And I've always enjoyed his work. I was very sad when he died last year. He remained one of those kind of enigmas, really. It's like you think you know him, but then you kind of go, I don't know if I really know him at all. But I've been fascinated by his work, and one of those people that I really enjoyed hearing him speak as well, and hearing him being interviewed. I was watching a little interview with him, and somebody asked the question. They said, you know, when you became an artist in the 1960s, did you have a kind of a creed, or you know, a manifesto, or you know, did you have a goal? And he said, no, you know, I didn't have any kind of high ambitions in a way. But then what he said really struck with me, and this is what he said. He said, the only dictum I set up for myself was that I didn't want to work for pay, but I did want to be paid for my work. And I just thought, wow, what an incredibly subtle but powerful distinction, because the word work for most of us is what we do for pay. You know, our primary motivation for doing, or not necessarily us, but most people's primary motivation for doing the work that they do is because they need the money, and you know, it's part of the human condition that we need money to be paid. And I think there's a whole different dynamic which Leonard was kind of touching on there, which is when we're creative, when we're artistic, when we're kind of spiritual, or when we're living a sense of purpose, whatever that may look like, we're actually not working for money. We're working for love. We're working because it feels like this is what we're on earth to do. We love doing it, and we just want to do it. So that part of this, you know, the equation is, you know, I want to work for love, and that's really what Leonard Cohen was saying. I want to do what I love. I don't want to work for pay. I want to work for love. And the distinction was, and I want to be paid for doing what I love. I want to receive money in return for doing the thing that I feel I'm on earth to do, and is the expression of my love in the world. Sean's just said something, I heard you say this many years ago. Yeah, it's been one of my little kind of pivotal expressions. And it changed everything. Yeah, great. It changed everything for me when I heard those words, because it is such a subtle distinction. So what I'm going to be sharing this week is just a series of thoughts on this whole idea of being paid for your work. And I think the challenge for so many of us is because mostly we've been brought up to believe that our job is to work for pay. Our kind of thinking is always, well, how am I going to make myself employable? You know, if we have an inspired idea, it's always like, is this going to turn into income? Can I get paid for it? So it's obviously on one level a very practical thought, because we all need money to live, but it's also to some extent a fearful thought, because we layer that over our sense of inspiration and creativity and go, well, maybe there's no point in pursuing this inspiration, this creativity, if it's not going to earn me any money. Or another version of that might be, well, I'll pursue this, but it can only ever be a hobby. It can only ever be something I do as a part-time thing, because I could never be paid for it. So this week I'm going to just be sharing a series of thoughts and insights on this whole area of opening up our thinking to, you know, figure out what it is that we're on earth to do, what we love doing and what we're passionate about doing, and then how do we become intelligent, entrepreneurial, how do we show up in the world, and then get intelligent at how we get paid for doing that, and find the people that would love us to do that for them. So that's really the thoughts. I just wanted to start with this idea. So I think I'm going to call the whole theme for this week being paid for our work, because I'm going to almost take it as a given that we're doing what we love, and then the question is really, how do we get paid for our work? And I just love this idea of our work, that each of us are here on earth with our unique work, whatever that is. So whether we're an artist, a creative soul, a leader, a parent, whatever it is that we're on earth to do, that is our work. That's why we're spiritually here, if you like. And then to some extent our job is to figure out, how do we get paid for doing that? How do we find the people that would happily pay us for doing it for them? So that's just kicking off to this week's theme. Hope that's interesting and helpful. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. Also, Meg's joined as well live. So thank you, Sean, and thank you, Meg. God bless. Have a good day. Bye-bye.